10:25, 1:32 a.m. Pacific time zone. Oh boy. My voice is still not good, but it is getting better from the chemical poisonous gases that I was exposed to inside of 1509 S Street Northwest for a sum total of 5 years. I still have trouble recalling the English vernacular. It's going to take time before I regain command of the English language. So let me describe this. Without a good-hearted, honest federal agent or official military member sitting me down and saying, here's the evidence. Do you know anything? Can you make statements? Etc., etc. Without that, okay? Being left without that and as a witness to crime, okay? Whatever the crime was, it's so hard when you just can't recall the word to describe it. Anyway, so now that I've described it, so that's where I'm at in life. And today, right now, at 1:32 a.m., is the first day at all that I could say one word about anything that has been going on since I arrived in Washington State. And I really cannot say very much. No. And so, like I just described, a person who witnesses crime, but there's no law enforcement or military person to handle the criminals with civil and humane things that a law enforcement officer or a military person does. The witness to crime is left to figure it out all by themselves. And that is what has been happening ever since I got to Washington State. Back at my biological mother's house with her spouse. Yeah. So, all I want from my mom, and I don't have your typical mother-daughter relationship with her. Explaining that would take way more than 13 minutes. I have never had that since I was born. but she is still my mom. And I've had enough of a relationship with her since I was born to say that she's my mom. Psychologically, this is how I feel towards her. Okay. So all I want for her is for some sort of law enforcement officer to please be civilized, like I used to live in a civilized country. And this law enforcement officer could be a military person. You know, I've tried to explain to the public how military good guys can be feds if they need to be. All I want is for you to please put her in custody. Please. Before something worse happens to her. And I'm out here. I'm in their house. And there's no doubt about what I'm witnessing. And that's writ large. And I can't explain to the public what legal definition of witnessing means. I just can't go through this anymore. If nobody takes action on my mother and her spouse, then we do not live in a civilized country at all. Okay? And the individuals claiming to be authority figures are letting criminals and civilians run around defending themselves from mafia members, various terrorist organizations, just anyone who carries out acts of violence on the public. There is no law, there is no order. And why do I say this? Because I just want my mom to stop what she's doing. And I want her to be safe. I want her to be put in custody. I want her to be given a psych eval. And as a family member, I feel so fucking powerless. It's terrible, okay? You don't even know. So I'm up to 7 minutes. I want to say this with my last few minutes here. I'm scheduling for a therapist. Oh, you know I am. And you're darn right. I'm telling the therapist whatever I want. I don't need to have a scheduled talk session. If I feel like saying something about, hey, therapist, I had a great AA meeting, I'll talk about that. If I feel like talking about what I just said here on this 14-minute video, I'll talk about that. If I feel like getting into stuff and things that happened when I was 2 and 3 years old, then I'll do that too. That's for my therapist. That's their job to take their notes and handle it from there. It's not my job. My job is to show up and process this with somebody who can help me work through it. And I'm fully excited to go. The therapist, with the things and stuff that I tell them about what happened in Washington, D.C., they need to have safety. Okay, because I know what happened there. All right. And the therapist, with things and stuff that I tell them that I've witnessed about my mother and her spouse since I've been inside their house, needs to have safety. Because my mother's involved with crime, without any doubt. All right? And I'm not going to describe it all in 14 minutes, and I'd have to pray about it to figure out what exactly I should say, because there's no doubt about it. If she hears this, of course she's going to come after me. It's guaranteed. The way that she comes after me usually is by calling cops on me. Endlessly calling cops on me. And that I will absolutely not tolerate coming from a fucking criminal. If one more criminal calls one more cop on me, I'm going to lose my patience with this. Okay? Okay. I just want her put in custody where she's safe. She stops engaging in crime. She gets the psych eval. And as a family member, I don't have to worry for her physical safety. Because the people that she's involved with undoubtedly engage in hit jobs and stuff and things, violence. I just want my mom safe, and I just want her to stop living the life that she's chosen to live. So this is what I mean. These very exact words, you're darn right, I'm taken to a therapist because I cannot do this alone. I have a family member engaged in some sort of organized crime without any doubt. I feel so fucking worried for her and so fucking helpless. And the woman will come after me if I say anything because of the world that she's involved in. It sucks being related to somebody in organized crime. And I'm going to talk about this in my therapy sessions. You can put money down on it. All right? So I'm up to 11 minutes. It is Saturday. I cannot wait. I believe it's Saturday. Yeah, let me double check this. Yeah. I cannot wait to see a therapist by the middle of the week. All right? Because there's no way I can. I sleep 5-6 hours and then I go back to sleep. The time zones, the traumatic events I went through, name it. In combination, I'm not sleeping a solid 8 hours. No. Everything I'm witnessing here is horrific. I feel so powerless over my mother. I wake up, I'm like, I can't talk about this? Are you kidding me? I can't say a word about this on the internet? And Jesus said, no, that's completely crazy. Say something, but be careful with what you say. And there's no way anyone's telling me that I cannot work through this as a family member with another family member that's completely out of control. She's out of control. And she's my mother. I'm fucking had enough. All she says is the most terrible things about me to cover up her crimes. She's going to go all over town and all over every airport doing it. I just want her to stop, and I want her to be safe. She hates me. She wants me out of her house. The things she says are so horrible. Bringing me back was never real. It wasn't true. I can't describe or explain, and we're down to the last few minutes. So you can guarantee I'm going to talk about this with my therapist. You can put money down on it. The shit I'm seeing here is horrendous. And no, I cannot just do this by myself with no support. Okay, goodbye.